We're at World Horse Welfare Penny Farm in Blackpool, and today is our open day where we've got members of the public coming in to visit and have a look at what we do here. We've got lots of events on during the course of the day and displays on in our riding school. One of the events we have got on here today are the King's Troop. We have quite a long established relationship with the King's Troop. They've been coming to Penny Farm for the last 10 years, and that is due to the fact that the previous manager was an ex-King's Troop officer. And one of the first horses that came into the farm was a bay mare. We called her Penny after the farm and the lady who bought the farm for us. She came with several other horses from a farm in North Yorkshire, and she was, although she was only a young horse, she was very, very emaciated. She was full of lice, she had very bad feet, she hadn't been very well handled. Generally, her condition was not very good, and that is typical of the type of horse that we get at our farms at World Horse Welfare. Once we had rehabilitated Penny, that was get her back to full fitness through the vet, the farrier, plenty of TLC and good feeding. It did become obvious that she could possibly make a good horse for the King's Troop. So we approached them and asked them would they be interested in taking her into the troop. The highlight of today is that she has returned with the King's Troop and she's being retired. And the purpose of her coming back here is that she will be retired back to World Horse Welfare and Penny Farm, and we will look to rehome her in the future.
So Penny is a military working horse, and she's been with us now for 12 years. She arrived from World Horse Welfare when she'd been took in and rehabilitated. Since arriving, she was given military training, so it's a slightly different style of riding to civilian. There's obviously the different style of tack to deal with. There's a sword slung on her side, so all different things that she wouldn't have been used to. And ultimately, she's been used in gun team to pull one of the 6 World War I guns that we have at the regiment. On parade, she would have been in wheel, we call it, the 6 horses that pull the gun. The 2 at the rear are the brake horses, or we call them the wheelers. And given the fact that she's quite a solid, chunky horse, she fitted in there quite well. And since being with us, she's been on a whole host of parades. The first one she was on would have been the Queen Mother's funeral. Ever since then, she would have done every parade that we would have done. So sort of Queen's birthday, the Queen's succession to the throne, as well as Prince Charles's birthday and the Duke's birthday. She would have took part in last year's Jubilee celebrations, and more recently she was part of a gun team that pulled one of the guns that fired the salute to mark the birth of Prince George. So the handover this afternoon, we've got about 10 horses, and we're going to go in, and what we're going to do is show the crowds what the King's Troop can do. We're going to do a few military games, so a bit of tent pegging, and we're going to slice some melons with a sword. And then what we're going to go on and do is just explain to the guys who've come to see us today what work we do behind the scenes. Everyone sees the picture of us on parade, but equally the countless hours and hours of lessons the guys do to get up to the standard that they need to be to ride on parade. And that's for the horses and the soldiers. And we'll finish off when we return Penny to their rightful owners, the people who kindly lent us to her 12 years ago. We'll bring her in and she'll be in full ceremonial dress. She'll have all her, what we call a Queen's Lifeguard Order of Numner, and the soldiers will be in their number 1 dress, their full dress as we call it. And we'll bring her in and we'll give a quick chat to everyone about Penny, make sure they're all aware of what she's done and where she's come from, and equally where she's going. And then we'll dismount the rider, take her saddle and bridle off because we want those back, and then we'll pop a World Horse Welfare head collar on her, and we'll lead her back to a stable as Penny Farm Penny, I believe, not Hallmark, King's Troop Hallmark.
I'd just like to introduce Penny Thornton, who is one of our trustees and was instrumental in Penny Farm being what it is today, and Barry Johnson, who is chairman of World Horse Welfare. Penny Thornton is going to receive a horse penny on behalf of World Horse Welfare and see her into her retirement. And we will follow over to her. So this is a sad time for Penny because she's now leaving the King's Troop, or you could say it's a good time because she's retiring, leaving the King's Troop, and she will now be resident here at Penny Farm. So you can come in and see her anytime you like over the next few months until we find another home for her. She's going to have some time to chill out and get used to her new life and relax out in the paddocks a little bit. So I'm going to ask Owen now to hand Penny over to Penny Thornton. Thank you. Now that Penny's back with us, she'll have some downtime. She'll be turned out in the paddock, just let her have a bit of a chill period. Obviously she's got into a routine, so it's going to be a case of breaking that routine, getting her used to being out with the ponies and just generally chilling out. We'll give her a few weeks to do that, and then we'll have her assessed by the vet for her fitness and the physio, and together we will decide what her future will be, but hopefully we are hoping to rehome her as a riding horse.
We've got a close bond up here with the guys from World Horse Welfare, and certainly if another horse came in and it fulfilled the criteria we wanted, then I'd imagine that we would, yes, we'd take her on, or him on, and try and produce another King's Troop horse.
Penny going to the King's Troop has shown that we can take a horse that is emaciated, is in poor condition, that probably a lot of people would write off and think didn't have a future, and she's proved us wrong. She's shown us that we can find a future for our horses, a good working future, and the King's Troop have taken her all over the country, and she's been an ambassador for us, and it just goes to show that we can have horses who can lead a useful life, and that's what we want in World Horse Welfare.